Hi, I'm Usar. Welcome to the first video in the Faceplant 101 tutorial series. These videos will introduce you to the modular digital synthesizer made by KiloHearts, as well as provide an in-depth look at all the different parts and features that this hybrid synth has to offer. This video is a top-to-bottom overview of Faceplant, intended to provide a basic familiarity with the layout. Timestamps will be in the description below for the different parts of the synth. At the top, this segment will show you which version of Faceplant you have, as well as allow you to browse through presets, either factory-made, user-created, or third-party presets. You can initialize to a blank patch with the New button, or press the floppy disk to save your patch. The left and right arrow buttons allow you to undo and redo any changes you make within a patch, including changing through patches. You can press the 8-bit alien icon to play Phase Invaders, and you can press the eye icon to open up the info view, which has full credits, as well as a link to the KiloHearts website, social media, YouTube channel, and Discord server. Below that, we have the Modulator panel. Because of the modular nature of Faceplant, direct control of all of the parameters have been disabled or restricted. For a full list of controllable parameters inside of your host DAW, you can check out the upcoming Modulators video. Instead, you have access to 9 macro controls, 1 pre-mapped to the mod wheel for live performance, and 8 controllable macro knobs. To initialize a modulation, you press the orange plus sign, and then the other orange plus signs you see are whatever selectable parameters you can modulate. Once you have modulated a parameter, you can scale that modulation by pressing the yellow asterisk underneath the modulation, and then the yellow plus sign underneath the modulation that you wish to scale, in case there are more than one macros or modulations affecting that parameter. Below that, we have the generators. This is where you make and sculpt your sound sources. Audio rate modulation happens here. The green plus sign indicates the modulation source. And, like the modulators, you click it and then select on the available modulation parameters for your audio rate modulation. The first generator you make in any patch will automatically be enclosed inside a group and an output. Future groups will have to be created manually. You cannot create them automatically. You can have a maximum of 30 generators excluding this first group and this first output. Other groups and outputs do count towards this limit of generators. Theoretically, if you were able to remove this group and remove this output, you could have a maximum of 32 generators, but because of the nature of Faceplant, you are realistically restricted to 30. Next to that, we have the effect lanes. These are 3 semi-modular effect processing lanes, similar to the ones found in the other KiloHearts hosts, Snap Heap and Multipass. You can load any one of KiloHearts' other snap and effect plugins in these 3 lanes, mute or solo the effect lanes, or enable polyphonic processing to affect each note played rather than the total output of the generators sent to that particular lane. Polyphonic effects can be applied to all 3 effects, but only in serial. You cannot have, for example, lane 3 polyphonic while lane 1 is monophonic. Below the generators and effects, there is a section that has a variety of useful tools for manipulating the performance of the synth patch. You have control over the glide or portamento. You have unison control for the entire patch, including the effects, for greater width and stereo and depth to your patches at the cost of a much higher CPU usage. You have full polyphony control, as well as additional controls for monophonic patches. You have control over the master tuning of the entire patch, as well as control over the pitch bend range. And you have control over the volume, dry-wet mix, and serial and parallel processing of the 3 effect lanes. Below that, you have the modulator section. This is where you can create more expressiveness in your patch through various types of modulation sources. Envelope generators, LFOs, which have customizable LFO shapes, as well as a one-shot option to create a multi-segment envelope generator, or MSEG, control. You have various forms of MIDI control, such as note tracking, pressure or aftertouch, velocity mapping. You have access to random or sample and hold outputs. And you have control of a couple of utility plugins or utility effects that allow you to do things such as limit the maximum or minimum output of a modulation or multiply the output of a modulation. To the right of the modulators, there is a master fader, which provides you with not only control over the output of the patch, but also peak and RMS readout. Below this, you have the info view, which is a small box that contains a quick context-sensitive menu option for whatever parameter you're hovering over. Be sure to refer to this often while you begin navigating around Faceplant, as it will generally provide hints and also display hotkeys in order to speed up your workflow. Next to that, you have a keyboard toggle, a little piano icon, which you can click to open up a on-screen keyboard, which allows you to both play patches without activating your DAW's musical typing keyboard or using an external MIDI keyboard, but you can also use this as a way to visualize the notes you are playing on your musical typing or MIDI keyboard. Next to that, there is a readout of the total latency generated by all of the effect lanes in your patch, which is useful information when you are resampling this patch to audio, rendering out stems for a project, or dealing with plugin delay inside of your host DAW. Next to that, there is a small icon which allows you to resize Faceplant for whatever needs you may have. And that is actually about it. That is a quick and dirty overview of Faceplant. Thank you all so much for watching. The next video will be about suggested first steps for people who are new to sound design or new to the KiloHearts ecosystem. If you're comfortable designing your own synth patches or are very familiar with the KiloHearts plugins, such as Multipass and Snap Heap, feel free to skip that video, though it never hurts to refresh your memory. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Please follow me on Twitch for live streams every Monday through Friday. And if you'd like me to update this channel more frequently, consider supporting me on Patreon. Thanks again, and have a great day.